I'd like to call to order the open session of the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board meeting from 4/16. Ms. Rochelle, could you call roll?
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
All are present.
Looks like we have no public comment, so we will move to closed session where we will discuss student matters, employer-employee relations, conference for legal counsel, conference for real property negotiators, and personnel matters. We will recess to closed session, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock for open session.
Madam President, I do want to make a note that for the record, Trustee Reed is attending remotely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Welcome to the board meeting for Folsom Cordova Unified School District on April 16th, 2026. If you could call roll.
Ms. Luong?
Here.
Ms. Lopez-Petracca?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Here.
Mr. Reed?
Here.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Here.
Ms. Larrett?
Here.
All are present. Please note for the record, Trustee Reed is attending remotely.
Thank you. And we move on to our land acknowledgement.
As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Nishinan and Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn.
We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nishinan ancestral tribes, the Esto, Notomuse, and Nisim Pawinan to the north,
and the Miwok ancestral tribes and the Amakumne, Consumne, Hopomne, and Mokumne to the south along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial.
We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built was once flourishing with the natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of those indigenous communities.
We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted these communities and recognize the resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today. In our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, leadership, and community engagement, we commit to supporting, respecting, and honoring their culture, traditions, and lifeways.
We pledge to work together for the evolving vision of the Miwok and the Nisean, especially all future generations.
Thank you. And if you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. A broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Tonight's meeting is being live streamed on the district's YouTube channel. The recording will be cablecast as replays on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be closed captioned and video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Folsom Cordova Unified School Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. And if any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, or demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Public comment will be limited to the subject matter of agenda items. Comments on subject matter not listed on the agenda will be limited to the period of time reserved on the agenda for general public comment and should be relevant to subject matter within the jurisdiction of the board or district. Members of the public may not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 2 p.m. today to the board have been read per the Brown Act. The board is not allowed to enter in a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. We will move on to item D, District Recognition Month, Arab American Heritage Month.
We would love to invite Zara Noor up to the podium from Cordova High School. She is one of our equity leaders. You're there. And you were here like at 4:58. Yeah, no, that's okay. We're excited you're here.
Good evening, Board President Larrett, members of the board, and Superintendent Swanson. My name is Zahar Noor, and I'm an FCUSD equity leader, teacher at Cordova High School, and parent of 2 within the district. Tonight, we will be presenting on Arab American Heritage Month. This month, we celebrate Arab American History Month under the theme, Many Voices, One Community, honoring the rich histories, cultures, and contributions of Arab Americans across our nation and within our communities. Arab American Heritage Month is formally recognized each April with leadership from the Arab American Foundation. Across the country, schools, cities, and organizations participate by using proclamations and posting events that celebrate the achievements and cultural contributions of Arab Americans. This recognition helps us ensure that Arab American voices, histories, and experiences are visible and valued in our shared national story. The Arab world includes 22 countries across the Middle East and North Africa, representing a wide range of cultures, traditions, and histories. It is important to note that this reflects a shared culture and linguistic identity, not just a single ethnicity. For our students, this helps build a more accurate and nuanced understanding of identity, recognizing diversity within communities rather than oversimplifying them. The term Arab refers to a culture and linguistic identity primarily connected through the Arabic language and shared history. Arab identity is not defined by race, and Arab people represent a wide spectrum of backgrounds, appearances, and lived experiences. There is also religious diversity within Arab communities, including Muslims, Christians, and Jewish individuals. This understanding is especially important in education as it helps us challenge stereotypes and fosters inclusion, informed learning environments. Hala Ayan is a Palestinian-American poet, novelist, and psychologist whose work explores themes of identity, displacement, and belonging. Her writings include award-winning poetry, and her novel, Salt Houses, brings visibility to Arab American experiences and the complexities of diaspora. Her work is widely taught and helps broaden representation in literature, offering students opportunities to see diverse narratives reflected in what they read. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was the son of a Syrian immigrant father and is widely recognized as one of the most influential innovators of our time. He led the development of transformational technologies such as iPhone, iPad, and Mac, fundamentally shaping how we communicate and interact with the world. His story reflects the impact of immigrant communities and their contributions and the importance of representation across all fields, including technology and design. Congressman Rashida Tlaib is the first Palestinian-American woman elected in the United States Congress and one of the first of 2 Muslim women to serve. She is known for her advocacy on issues such as social justice, healthcare access, and equity, while also elevating Arab and Muslim representation in government. Her leadership helps highlight the importance of civic engagement and the role of diverse voices playing in public policy. We are proud to recognize Amal Al-Yusuf, a speech-language pathologist in our district whose personal and professional journey reflects the strength and diversity of Arab American community. Originally from Kuwait, with roots in Palestine and Jordan, Amal brings a deeply personal understanding of language, culture, and identity to her work. Her commitment to helping students develop communication skills ensures that they feel seen, valued, and empowered in their school communities. Recognizing staff like Amal reminds us that representation within our own school system matters and strengthens our ability to serve all of our students effectively. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. We will move on to item E, Secondary School Spotlight, Folsom Cordova Community Charter.
Absolutely. I see a lot of FCCC swag out there, so we're going to invite all y'all up.
Hi, my name is Annie. I'm a sixth grade student at Folsom Cordova Community Charter School. FCC middle school students are homeschooled by their parents through our charter. Our students may be using a variety of different curriculums in support of state and grade standards. Our twice-weekly enrichment workshop supports all of our students.
Hi, I'm Gwen and I'm in sixth grade. Weekly Wednesday workshops, math book camp, STEAM, language arts, PE, art, life skills, and crafts, book club, science fair, guest presentations.
Hi, my name is Asha, and I'm in eighth grade, and theater workshops include school, craft club, ceramics, art workshop, and ukulele.
Hi, my name is Harvey. I am in the seventh grade, and some of the FCCC culture includes Kindness Club, D&D Club, Book Club, Spirit Days, and the end of the school year for middle school dance. Some of the field trips we've been on is to the Soil Born Farm, the Crime Lab at the Sacramento County, the IMAX California History Museum State Capitol Tour, the Crocker Art Museum, the PBS KVIE Station Tour, and the Ford's Theater Virtual Field Trip.
Is it going backwards? Oh. Hi, my name is Lauren, and I wanted to say thank you, and please come visit us for our talent show and student showcase, theater performance, end of year family picnic, and eighth grade graduation. Thank you, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you so much. I kind of have always wanted to go to the crime lab, so I'm really jealous of that field trip. That sounds very exciting. Do we want to take a picture with our young students? We'd love to do that. So if you guys want to come up here, we'll take a picture with you guys.
We're going to come up too. Yes. We'll get a picture. Tell you what, let's do one with. Okay. You guys are a homeschool. Yes, of course. I don't know them all. All right, hold on. Okay, oh, that's great. Okay, look here, cheese. Fantastic, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your job.
Okay, we'll move on to item 5, which is reporting out of closed session.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. We will move on to item 6, adoption of agenda. If I can get.
Yep.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, then we'll move on to agenda consent.
Madam President, I would like to pull item I for some discussion, if possible.
Item I.
We also have a request to pull item F. Approve revised middle school and high school course outlines.
I will entertain a motion then approving all other items besides F and I.
Move.
I'll second.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse, second by Ms. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Fantastic. Sounds like we've got some introductions to
Yeah, thank you, board. With you just adopting the consent agenda, we have some exciting news to announce. We have some new teammates and actually teammates in new positions that we'd like to announce. So I'd like to invite Rachel Hahn up to the podium. Folsom Cordova is pleased to welcome Rachel Hahn as the Expanding Learning Supervisor for the Community Education Center. Rachel brings more than 15 years of experience working with children and families throughout Sacramento. Throughout her career, she held a variety of roles within the Sacramento Children's Home Crisis Nursery Program, where she worked directly with children and families to build strong relationships and support families through challenging times. She has also played a key role in developing and strengthening the teams that serve those families. In her most recent role as a program manager, Rachel focused on cultivating high-quality teams, ensuring program oversight and compliance, and engaging with community and funding partners to support impactful services. Quote, I am thrilled to join the Expanded Learning team and feel honored to support the students, families, and dedicated staff with the Expanded Learning Opportunities programs. Rachel earned a bachelor's in child development from California State University, Sacramento. Please join us in welcoming Rachel to Team FCUSD as we embark on a journey of growth and achievement under her leadership.
Just want to thank you all for the opportunity. I'm very excited to work with all the kids throughout Folsom and Cordova.
Thank you so much. Folsom Cordova is pleased to welcome Julie Iredell as the Assistant Principal of Natoma Station and Theodore Judah Elementary Schools. Come on up. Julie has dedicated 24 years to elementary education, beginning her career in Elk Grove Unified School District before moving to FCUSD with her husband and 2 children. She joined our district in 2013, serving as a classroom teacher, intervention specialist, and most recently as an instructional coach at Navigator Elementary for the past 3 years. Julie has been instrumental in helping Navigator Elementary achieve Level 1 and Level 2 high reliability school certification and California PBIS gold recognition for the last 2 years. She has also served as a mentor teacher and administrative designee for the past 9 years across multiple sites. She is passionate about building strong relationships, supporting teachers, and creating a positive school culture. Outside of work, Julie enjoys spending time with her family, traveling, and being outdoors. Julie holds a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and a Master of Arts in Educational Leadership. Join us in welcoming Julie Iredell as the next Vice Principal at Natoma Station and Theodore Judah Elementary Schools.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity and look forward to co-leading at 2 different sites next year. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Folsom Cordova Unified School District is pleased to welcome Dr. Jennifer Sanford as the Assistant Principal serving both Alder Creek and Mangini Ranch Elementary Schools. And your future principals and fan club here. We'd like to honor the fact that you bring 25 years of experience in education and you've been part of the Folsom Cordova community since 2008. Over the years, you have served in a variety of teaching and leadership roles. Jennifer is known for building strong relationships with students, staff, and families, and for her commitment to creating positive and supportive school communities. In 2025, she was honored as Folsom Cordova Unified School District's Teacher of the Year, recognizing her dedication to students and excellence in teaching. Most recently, Dr. Sanford served as an assistant principal at Cordovaville Elementary School, where she worked closely with teachers and staff to support student learning, strengthen instruction, and foster a welcoming school environment. She looks forward to partnering with the Alder Creek and Mangini Ranch communities to ensure all students feel connected, supported, and able to thrive both academically and socially. Dr. Sanford holds a bachelor's degree in academic studies from Sam Houston State University, a master's degree in curriculum and teaching from Michigan State University, and a doctorate in educational leadership from UC Davis. She has called our community home for 20 years and enjoys being part of the community with her husband and their 11-year-old son who attends Folsom Middle School. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would like to express my sincerest thanks for this opportunity from the cabinet and the board, and I look forward and deeply just excited and enthusiastic to serve the Alder Creek and Mangini Ranch communities in the fall. Thank you.
Congratulations. Folsom Cordova is pleased to announce Mrs. Andrea, or quote-unquote Drea, as she's known, fondly referred to as, Rodriguez, as the principal of Peter J. Shields Elementary for the 2026-2027 school years. Ted said he gave his baby up to adoption. That's why he's here to root you on as well. So Mrs. Rodriguez brings a dynamic blend of leadership and expertise to our school community. This year marks her 11th year in education, a journey that began as an emergent bilingual student herself. She brings a perspective that deeply informs her dedication to equity and inclusion. Mrs. Rodriguez previously served as a kindergarten, second, and fourth grade teacher at a Spanish two-way dual immersion school before joining Team FCUSD. Within our district, she has served as an intervention teacher and instructional coach at Rancho Cordova Elementary and spent the last 4 years as the assistant principal at Cordova Meadows and White Rock Elementary. Through these roles, Mrs. Rodriguez has demonstrated a passion for creating supportive learning environments where students thrive. Driven by social justice mindset, she is dedicated to dismantling barriers to success and ensuring that every student's unique background is seen as an asset. Quote, I am deeply honored to serve the students, families, and staff of Peter J. Shields, says Mrs. Rodriguez. As an educator rooted in social justice, I'm committed to building a community where every child feels seen, heard, and empowered. I look forward to partnering with our families to ensure that our school is a place of belonging where every student can achieve their fullest potential. Mrs. Rodriguez holds a Bachelor in Child Development from California State University, Sacramento, and a Master's in Educational Leadership from UC Berkeley, where her studies focus heavily on early childhood literacy. This specialized background underscores her dedication to continuous learning and ensuring a strong academic foundation for our youngest learners. Beyond her professional life, Mrs. Rodriguez is a proud member of the local community. She lives in Rancho Cordova with her husband and their 2 dogs, Sheila and Bonnie. In her free time, she enjoys staying active with Zumba and finding a good book to read. Join us in welcoming Mrs., we'll call it just straight up, Drea Rodriguez to her new role at Team SUSD as we embark on a journey of achievement under your leadership.
I just want to say I'm deeply honored and incredibly excited to accept the position of principal at Peter J. Shields for the 2026-2027 school year. And to the teachers, staff, and families, I cannot wait to work alongside you. And to the students, you are the why behind everything that we do. And I'm committed to making sure that this next year is the best one yet. So thank you for your trust and this incredible opportunity.
Is that it? We had a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. Okay, then we will move on to item F, approve revised middle school and high school course outlines.
Faith Smith, followed by Earl Smith.
Hi, my name is Faith Smith. So on this agenda item, what was it? F, it talks about the course outlines. And so specifically on here, it talks about the jazz classes for high school. It talks about 3 different levels: jazz orchestra being A band, jazz ensemble being B band, and jazz band being C band. So if there's different levels, you would think that the 3rd level, which is jazz band, would have no audition. Yet in the course outline, it still states that you have to audition or have 2 years of, audition and have 2 years of prior band, school band. So if you have to audition, even though it's the lowest band, then that means that they can still use that to deny you. So why is that still in the course outline? And we've already talked about this so many times. And I don't understand how that's going to be constantly overlooked. I mean, this is like the 3rd time this has come up here, and I've had to address this as well. This is being used to deny students from being in the program. It's been used to deny me as well. So I don't understand why that is still in there, and I think you guys should re-look into this instead of accepting it and just approving these outlines and pulling that out to go look at that, because this is something we've been talking about for how many years has it been now? It's been like 2 years now at this point. Oh, and also for college, like thinking college-wise for jazz class, like jazz major, and music major, there's multiple schools that don't have pre-screen to get into their music, so you don't have to audition. So that's even at the college level. So why are you guys making that there for the high school level? It doesn't make any sense. So, yeah.
Thank you, Earl Smith.
Good evening, Board, Madam President, Mr. Swanson. I don't know why she's not gonna, as proud as I am, go Bruin. My daughter's now a Bruin. UCLA has the #1 jazz violinist in the world there as faculty. She has braced Faith. They're like sisters now. She's become the Jesus in my book, Beating the Biased, the district. So the 3 different levels on this F, jazz band. If you read the course description, I love the fact that, first of all, you guys listen, and Ms. Lofthouse, you had the courses pooled a couple months ago, and Lady of Secondary Instruction just seems very open to making changes that benefits the students. The question I've been asking since the beginning, if Folsom High has the #1 jazz program in the nation, what colleges are accepting the students? There's none. Most of the students who continue go to Sac State. There's no pre-screen. There's no audition. We met with Steve Roach. He explained that his program is there as a nurturing program. So if the college levels don't have a pre-screen or an audition, why is it in beginning jazz band? I believe that instead of doing an audition for the beginning jazz band, train throughout the school year, accept all students, all instruments that are taught by the district, and then use that school year and train the students how to audition and to prepare them to audition. I just think would be a great idea. I do like all this changes. I do like the different names. I do like the fact that in the description, it indicates the different levels. I think that is very key. I just hope that there is some education or some training on the principals to enforce the fact that this is supposed to be for the students and not to be a class for the teacher to get an award of winning a festival that doesn't do anything for the student who wants to go on to college and major in music, because their instrument could be a great tool to get into a high university. On her orientation, they encourage, at UCLA, they encourage the music students to minor in something else or even double major. So it's a great tool to get you to that next level or that school you want to go to. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Comments from the board?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for your comments on that. I was looking at an email, and I actually think we need to maybe look at some different language, if it's okay with the board or consensus with the board, to maybe send us back. And I'm going to read what I had, and it just says that there should be some language added on the grounds that if the district is teaching the instrument at the 4th, 5th, or 6th grade or middle school, then the student should be eligible to audition and participate with the instruments they learned in those grade levels in any of these jazz high school classes. I kind of think that would kind of set a foundation for those kids that are learning and then have the opportunity to perform at a high school level without obviously they'll still have to audition, but maybe we should look at some language to change that. If I can obviously get support from the board to maybe send this back and then bring it back at a future meeting. Thank you.
I would want to confirm if there are any more CIC meetings this school year. Because if I don't think there are. Yeah. So I don't know if we would want it to be, I don't know. That's my only concern with that. If they do need a course description updated.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. No, there's not. So, well, I may be the lone one on this one, but with that being said, I think it should be sent back. Obviously, it can't be. So I will probably be voting no on this.
I would say it could be, it just would be
But
pushing
it's
it
pushing
back.
it. Yeah,
So-
I totally get it.
And the updates that are in there, I think are pertinent too. So I don't know if we wanted to do it like as an interim and then ask that it be brought on the first, because there's nothing that says we can't bring it back again and update it again. But that might be a good solution is approve it tentatively to go on and then ask CAC to put it on
Trying
at
to
the
change my
beginning of the
mind.
year. No, just trying to be
No, I got
thoughtful.
you. No, I'm good with that.
Yeah. Is there any better option, Swanson?
I think that they sort of flesh out that probably the best option in an effort to move forward with master scheduling and the course, since there is no CACs for the rest of this year. We could, if the board chose to accept the course description today, it would be under the condition of a further review at the first CAC next year. I'm okay with that. We can make sure. I looked at Dr. Huber for that as well. Does that make sense from your perspective?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to suggest is to go ahead and approve. And then we just, with the condition that next year we pull this again and bring it back through CAC to have this discussion.
My question is too, is that why do we have a prerequisite for the lowest level in the first place? What if a student is taking private lessons and because of their schedule, they have other electives that they're doing, but they're taking private music lessons? And then what if they auditioned and they were good enough to be in? Like, why do we have the prerequisite ahead of time for that?
Dr. Huber, yeah.
Yeah, so I can double check on this, but it's my understanding that the audition is for evaluation purposes in terms of what level is the student
chair.
at, but not as an exclusionary aspect. So whatever band or class you're trying to get into or you're interested in, it's that audition that tells the instructors or the panel in terms of your proficiency, your skill set, et cetera, and then that would then determine for them which class they were going to put you in. That was my understanding, but it's not, especially for that lowest one, no one would be excluded.
So on that lowest level, you don't have to have any like prior music classes at the high school or the middle school?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
But if we bring it back again next year, we'll follow up on that as well to make sure it's crystal clear.
Thank you. Okay, so fantastic. Okay, with those changes in the air, I guess I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
No.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item I, approve job descriptions and salary schedules.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Two of these job descriptions. The first one, the fiscal data analyst, I'd like to request the board permission to pull this from the approval list for further consideration. That's number one. And then the second one is the Director of Connectedness and Wellbeing. On that job description in the second sentence, I think it ends up the third line of the job description. Says this role focuses on fostering belonging, inclusion, and mental health support. And we'd like to change mental health into social emotional learning. So mental health support into social emotional learning. So it would read, this role focuses on fostering belonging, inclusion, and social emotional learning support as essential conditions for learning and thriving. So we're requesting the board accept this today, but with that edit on it as well. So pulling the fiscal analyst for further work and then amending those words on the Director of Connectedness and Wellbeing.
Thank you. With those changes in mind, I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Chella?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item 8, special presentations.
Yes, I'd like to invite Mr. Peter Maroon. There you are, Peter. Up to celebrate some of our student athletes and programs here in our district. Well, all of them actually. But also while he's making the walk up here, I know we mentioned it at a past board meeting, but this week, yes, we got the opportunity to honor and celebrate Peter Maroon as the AXA Region 3 Administrator of the Year. So he also got an award. So can we give this young man a round of applause for his hard work? Now that celebration is in the air, Peter, take it away.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. With that, proud to share the updates of success for our winter athletic programs across Folsom Cordova. This season has been marked not only by strong participation, but also exceptional achievements at both the middle schools and the high school levels. So tonight we're going to celebrate the accomplishments of some of our student athletes, coaches, and their team success. We're going to start up backwards this year. This time we're going to go high school first, middle school last. Make sure we get everybody in the picture, so to speak. We're going to start off with Folsom High School's boys basketball team, who won the Sierra Foothill League and then the NorCal Regional Championship and went on to be the Division I state runner-up, losing in a very close game at the end of the season. So I'd like to celebrate them. One thing I will say about Coach Wall and his staff and his students is one of the reasons why Mike's enjoyed so much success is he's been here for over 25 years, and that makes a huge difference for us. And of course, he's racked up over 500 wins in his teams have racked up over 500 wins. So part of the success is the fact that we have longevity and we have consistent coaching. So Coach Wall, come on up. Mr. Baker, come on up. I'm going to hang out here for a second while I bring up. We're also going to bring up Folsom High's wrestling program led by Coach Mike Collier. Folsom High's wrestling program was the CIF Sac Joaquin Section Division I dual champions. They had 10 student athletes that went on to the state championship. And again, another example, Mike Collier has been phenomenal, been here for over 25 years, had a national championship, I want to say 2014, somewhere around there, athlete that went all the way through the nationals. And every single year he has produced, the program has produced athletes that succeed at the highest level at the state competition. And part of that is the attraction of the students who participate and the dedication that he puts into it. So Coach, come on up, bring your staff with you and your athletes, please. Had to bring the banner, huh? We're going to add Vista del Lago's wrestling program. They are the Capital Valley Conference champs, as well as the CIF Sac Joaquin Section Division III champs, led by Coach Frank Richmond. And again, another example of Frank joined the staff years ago at Folsom High, migrated over to Vista del Lago, and continued that success and continues to have success at Vista del Lago. He puts in unreasonable hours. Trust me, nobody wants to put in the same hours he does, but he does a great job. He gets that bought in. He's not doing it for a large amount of sums that we give him, but he's doing it because of the passion for the sport and the kids. So Frank, come on up. And our last high school team that's going to be recognized tonight is Vista del Lago's girls varsity soccer team. Unfortunately, Coach Kendi Chongo is not able to be here, but he does have his representative, Coach Roman. Are you here still? Yep, come on up, bring your athlete with you. Vista del Lago's won the Capital Valley Conference, as well as the CIF Section Division III Championship this year, and went on to represent us in NorCal's, just fell one goal short, but they are here. They've done a terrific job. Appreciate them being here. Congratulations, Coach. Thank you. Can we do a picture? And can we do a picture with recognizing the high school folks?
Yeah, we'd love a picture, and also I think we'd be remiss if we didn't embarrass Coach Wall and acknowledge the fact that he was the Sacramento Bee Coach of the Year as well. So.
Yes. Tall people in the back. Have to squeeze you guys in.
And I'm gonna take a couple pictures and I'm gonna ask you to stay so that your family and parents can take pictures too. All right. All yours.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about it. None? You're welcome. We're going to continue with also our middle schools. Sutter Middle School. Do we have anybody here from Sutter Middle School? Okay. Sutter Middle School, 6th and 7th grade girls basketball team won the league championship. Also, their boys soccer team won the league championship. And then we're going to jump right into Folsom Middle. I'm going to ask Mr. Shields to join me and some of his students. And I don't know if there's a coach here as well. Not tonight? Student athletes, come on up. So first, we have the JV boys basketball team that won the league championship. We also have the girls varsity basketball team that won the championship in a very close game against Mills. It was literally, correct me if I'm wrong, 43-42, came down to the last basket. And we had two of our top athletes on each school. The top athlete was from Mills. She scored 32 points, and the second top athlete from Folsom Middle scored 31 points. So it was a phenomenal game, but it was intense. And if you didn't get a chance, it was at Folsom Lake College, so kind of made it a huge event for them. A lot of families showed up, so it was a great opportunity for us to celebrate them. And then last but not least from Folsom Middle School, their girls soccer team, since we started soccer 4 years ago, has won the league championships 4 straight times. So congratulations to Folsom Middle School, their soccer teams, their basketball teams, boys and girls. You want to get a picture up front with the board?
Good.
So we'll just get you in a little bit tighter here.
Future champ right there.
In the margins. Here we go. All right, look up here. Smile.
Congratulations, guys. In addition to these competitive achievements, we especially encouraged by the continuing growth of our student participation. The winter sports saw us an increase of 12% in student athletes, growing from 689 participating in 2024-25 season to 727 this season. And then when we continue to look at our growth, we're experiencing during the fall, and we add that to the winter, it's a 20% overall increase in participation so far this year. And we're in the largest season right now, spring, with at least 11 sports. So we're definitely seeing a lot of growth, which is awesome to see. These numbers reflect more than just growth. They represent increased opportunities for students to connect, compete, thrive through athletics. Our programs continue to play a vital role in supporting our students' engagement, school pride, and overall well-being. We're incredibly proud of our student athletes and grateful for the dedication of our coaches, staff, families who make these opportunities possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll move on to item 9, public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items.
Yes, I'd like to call up Anna, followed by Karthik.
Good evening. My name's Anna Heinze, and I'm a foreign exchange student from Germany. This school year, I went to Folsom High School, sponsored by the Congress Bundestag Youth Exchange Program, which was established after World War II to create friendship between young German and American people. Today, I'll present a certificate for the Medallion Program, which honors schools that welcome international students sponsored by government programs like the CBYX is one. As a sponsored student, I also completed volunteer hours in Folsom, learned about cultural things, and I've been introduced to legislature by Assemblyman Josh Hoover at a visit to the California Capitol. Now I'd also like to talk about a few experiences I made at my high school. In winter season, I tried wrestling, a sport that I could never imagine myself doing, but I ended up loving it. Also, I joined the dance team and we're gonna perform at the Moving Up Rally at the end of the year. Last but not least, I also signed up for some classes that got me into new hobbies, for example, ceramics. So I'd say I had a really fun and exciting school year, and I'd like to thank my high school for giving me the opportunity here, and also thank you very much for having me tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
And also, could I maybe request a picture?
Yeah.
I was going to request that.
Go.
Oh my gosh, oh my goodness, of course. Yes, I've done that for everybody else.
I know.
Please. Oh, so you'll be able to get her that photo?
Yes, I'm her coordinator.
You're her coordinator?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
excellent. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Karthik, followed by Earl.
Hello, trustees of the board and Superintendent Swanson and student board members. My name is Karthik Mapin, and I'm a freshman at Folsom High School. If you guys remember me, it's because I was part of student board member Long's coalition to pass her climate resolution. Today, I'm here speaking, asking for another climate resolution to be passed in our district. I want you guys to focus on the climate awareness education in our district. I believe that is currently a bit lacking. As an 8th grader at Sutter Middle School, I traveled to Alder Creek and Theater Judah by myself to present to their elementary students about education for climate. I partnered with the Folsom City to develop curriculum and ended up presenting to about 800 students at those elementary schools. After that, the students came back to me, telling me that they felt the presentation was engaging and helped them understand more about our climate. Until then, they felt like they didn't properly understand what climate change really was. That truly showed me the lack of awareness that is in our district right now, something that I believe must be fixed. So that's where I started to want to develop this resolution. Now, since July, I've been working on developing a resolution that would bridge this gap in our district. I want to emphasize that I'm not only speaking for myself today. I've started a petition on change.org that currently has 129 supporters. This means I'm standing here today on behalf of those 128 other individuals, students, parents, and teachers in our district who have signed on to support the idea of integrated climate literacy in our classrooms. My goal is to build a resolution that fosters environmental literacy and responsible citizenship, ensuring we are not only meeting state mandates like AB 285, but also leading the way in doing so. This topic is deeply important to me and my peers because it represents the world we will graduate into. Your leadership on this topic is vital to us. By supporting climate awareness, you are showing us that the district is committed to equipping us with the knowledge we need to be informed, responsible citizens. While I plan on meeting with other district officials soon to discuss the logistics of this, I wanted to come before you tonight to share this vision and ask for your support as we look toward the future. I've already met with the district lead of science, Ms. Kelly Samuelson, to see if this is really viable and necessary in our district. She came back to me telling me that she believed that this resolution would impact our district positively. Thank you for your time and for your dedication to ensuring our education remains relevant and comprehensive. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Earl, followed by Faith. Faith, followed by Earl.
Hi, my name is Faith, and first I do want to say earlier, Dr. Huber, you mentioned that the auditions are not for whether or not you get in the class, and they're for placement. It has not been like that at all for as long as I've been involved and know about it, but also as far as I know prior to that as well, which would include the entire 39 years that it's been around. The program's been around for the jazz program. So when you review these course outlines, maybe include that that's specifically what you're talking about for auditions and not that it's just an audition. Because if it's just an audition, then it can get interpreted wrong. And even if you start right, then maybe later down the line, it's going to get interpreted wrong by another person who ends up getting hired or whatever happens. So maybe including that in the course outlines is a good idea, to say that the audition is not for denial, but specifically for which band you're going to be in, and that means that you're guaranteed to at least be in one of the bands. So if you wanted to write that down or type that up so that's aware. And then I also wanted to talk about the breakdown of jazz violin. As you know, I was told that jazz violin, oh, you can't play in the big band, can't audition, actually, is what they said. And it's been like that. I will say that finally for my senior year, they did end up saying, oh, well, you can be in the C band. And that was it. I couldn't be in the A band or B band or even audition to get into one of those. But what I wanted to do is break down, I did apply to 29 colleges, and 25 of those were specifically for jazz violin. So earlier we mentioned about there being no pre-screen and it just kind of being music, and those schools specifically, I will tell you what they were. Was UC, at least that I applied to, was UC Merced, Sac State, UC Santa Cruz, UC Riverside, and Cal State Dominguez Hills. So those are schools that didn't have pre-screen, but still accept jazz violin. Now the schools that did have auditions and did it for, there was jazz violin option specifically. This is gonna be a long list. UCLA, Johns Hopkins, Peabody Institute, the New School, Chapman, Berklee College of Music, Mount St. Mary's University, LA, Howard, Portland State University, University of Redlands, University of the Pacific, New England Conservatory, Manhattan School of Music, New York University, USC, Cal State Northridge, Stanford, Cornell, Yale, Harvard, and Brown. So those were all schools that have jazz violin options so that you can apply as jazz violin. So why is that not being accepted at the high school level? Not to mention, a lot of those schools not only accept jazz violin, but they will accept any jazz instrument. So not just violin, but you can apply as French horn, which is considered a non-traditional jazz instrument. Or flute is technically also a non-traditional jazz instrument, but that's accepted at the high school, but not these other instruments. It doesn't make any sense. There are a lot of jazz, tradition, like actual
the greats are what they really are called, that have done string albums or have used French horn. For example, Miles Davis, if you've heard of the trumpet player Miles Davis, he did an album and it had, I think, like 3 French horn parts.
23 seconds remaining.
And if you've heard of Count Basie, he did a strings album. If you've heard of Wes Montgomery, if you've heard of Duke Ellington, these are all people that had jazz violin. If you've heard of Wynton Marsalis, he's alive right now and he's doing jazz at the Lincoln Center in New York. He did an album with Regina Carter, which is who I study under. So these are all people who are considered the greats in the basis of jazz, yet they included strings and they included non-traditional jazz instruments. So why aren't we doing that at the high school? Especially if the school is supposed to be the #1 in the nation. Thank you.
Earl, followed by Ryan.
Good evening, Board, Madam President, Mr. Swanson. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier on the course outlines is on jazz orchestra, which is the advanced jazz, I would ask that seniors be considered first. It's the last level, especially if a student has gone through all 3 years prior being in a jazz ensemble. It should be up to, they're at that skill level. Based on the CDE, they measure it based on the grade level. But regardless of what they've done previous, that they look at the seniors being in the advanced jazz band first, so they can take advantage of all the opportunities with their peers, because that's important in establishing the community within. There's a lot of growth that happens by the classmates pushing each other. Faith did also get accepted to UC Davis, Mr. Swanson, but she didn't apply for jazz violin. It's biochemistry, molecular biology. The other thing I want to say is based of, if you've seen the movie, No, the trees, Lorax, where the Lorax was threatening the people. If you cut the leers or whatever they're called, there's going to be punishment. Doesn't sound like me. But what had happened at the end? He just left. And that was the punishment, because he was the person entrusted to take care of the trees or the layers. You know, pushing Faith out of these classes and with their classmates and all the stuff she's gone through. The community lost. I knew how to get to Regina. I mean, Stevie Wonder asked me to write music for his artists. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire's tour manager was my track coach's brother-in-law. I know how to move in the industry, make things happen, figure out what it is the colleges want for to be an asset to that school. And I could have given that to all the other students and the other parents.
27 seconds.
I'm a giver. And the community could have really utilized. And I asked the question, where are these current Folsom High School students going if they're majoring in music? Sac State. I do have a new respect for Steve Roach after that meeting. And I do apologize for talking down to Sac State. I changed that now. Thank you.
Mr. Smith. Ryan, if you could please come to the podium.
All right, hello, I'm tired. Just did a bunch of writing. Hopefully I'll be able to share it here with you guys. With that said, last time I was here, I spoke about how in February, Black History Month, you guys voted, to no longer let this black man have his job. Again, none of the minorities were there and took place in that vote. And last month was Disability Awareness Month. I asked you guys to try to consider to put your disabled students first. You see I'm still here, right? So take it that hasn't happened yet. I'm gonna go ahead and ask if you guys have even reconsidered that decision or not. I know I made that formal request back in February, again in March. Wondering if you guys have reconsidered that or not. As well as last time I was here, I spoke about ESY and the importance of me in that class and ESY being an extended school year. An example of ESY, there's a student in there that I was told and others treated him as though he was non-speaking. Didn't try with him, didn't do much. He had an AAC device, was told he was non-speaking. Once you guys made the wise decision to have me be the teacher of that class, I was able to reach out to the parent and find out that student is very speaking. Very speaking was their exact words. So that's why I'm saying that. Again, I just want to ask if you guys could start making these decisions as if your guys' children were in some of these classes. Wonder if you guys would have the same rulings if your guys' children were in some of these classes. Nonetheless, I also want to ask if you guys have apologized to these parents. You guys apologize to these parents, specifically the parents in the B5 classroom, the parents of my students. Reason being, you guys continue to neglect these students. I've mentioned times where you put people in front of them that don't care about them. What do I mean by that? I know I mentioned it here, that one of the teachers had told one of the kids to shut up, she was gonna strangle him. Yeah, you guys put him back in the room with her. You guys put people in that classroom that weren't aware of their disabilities, didn't know how to handle them, didn't know what to do in an emergency. In fact, after I mentioned that here, I received some phone calls of people who fact-checked that, found out that was very true. People that you had in front of their children did not know how to take care of their children or what to do in an emergency. You guys are responsible for that. Another thing, you guys put individuals who are uneducated, thus far could be considered unqualified to do the job. I'll go ahead and use myself as an example. What do I mean by that? I was guaranteed that I would get all this great schooling and be taught how to be a teacher. Yes, I do have my bachelor's in psychology. Yes, I do have my master's in business. However, I was told that I'd get the teaching that I needed to be a teacher. Where's that at? You guys go ahead and canceled that and then told me to stay in the classroom and still teach. So again, allow them to be known for their abilities, not their disabilities.
Thank you. Those are all the comments.
Thank you. We will move on to item 10, reports of district organizations. We'll start with Student Advisory Board.
Okay, so today we had our April meeting at Kinney High School, and this meeting was basically just focused on planning International Night, and so in the spirit of that, we wanted to emphasize to students the importance of cultural inclusivity and awareness. So we not only tried to talk about the planning of the event, but also why we do this event and the importance of it. And one of the activities we had students do today was we had them do a cultural show and tell. So they split into small groups and they shared about a language that they know how to speak. So they taught their peers how to say a phrase in another language, or they brought something to show to the other students that kind of represented their family tradition or just their culture. And I brought red envelopes to talk, and I talked about Chinese New Year, and I taught students how to say Xinyan Kuailou, which means Happy New Year in Chinese. So that was very fun, and it was also fun just to hear other students' presentations and the kind of traditions that they celebrate at home. And so that was our way of kind of giving students a teaser of International Night and showing them that it matters to share about your culture and also learn about other students. And we also talked about how the board approved ethnic studies as a graduation requirement for high schoolers. And so we were talking to them about the importance of seeing yourself reflected in curriculum and getting the opportunity to learn about other students' cultures. And in addition to that, we filmed a bunch of short form videos to advertise for International Night. And then also, I just wanted to talk about the student board member elections. So for like 2 weeks in April, I believe, we had students vote for their student board member, and we also, specifically at Folsom, we had 5 candidates. So I wanted to shout out Suhani Shah, Priya Mohan, Magna Kohli, Swinakar, and Sam Davies for all campaigning for our student board member position. These students all represented the best of the best. They were very strong leaders and very passionate people, and I just wanted to congratulate them on completing their campaigns and racking up a lot of votes, and it was a very tight election. And we, on the Folsom side, elected Sam Davies as our 2026-27 student board member for the Folsom side, and I think Evelyn's going to talk about the Cordova.
Yes, so the Cordova competition was just crazy. At first, we had two candidates, but it ended up just being one. And so the next 26 to 27 student board member for Cordova is Janine Wallace, and they both are going to come for the next May 7th meeting, and that's when we're gonna introduce them to you guys. So we're very excited, and they are too. And then going back to the SAB meeting, apart from international night stuff, which is on April 28th at the Cordova Performing Arts Center, and I sent a calendar invite to you guys, so that should be good. And so the students also toured the Kinney campus, and they liked it a lot, and they had something cool that Kinney has that most of our schools don't, or I think any of our schools don't have, is a welding class. So they got to experience the equipment and like actually see it in person, which was very cool. And they also mentioned how the campus was very clean, which I also noticed as well. And then our last student advisory board meeting is on May 21st, and it's gonna be here at the boardroom. So that is it. That's all we have. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to California School Employees Association.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Swanson. At the May 29th or April 29th meeting for CSEA, we will be putting up job descriptions, MOUs 14 and 15 for ratification. Every year in the month of May, classified staff throughout the state are celebrated and appreciated with a week-long event labeled CSEW, Classified School Employees Week. This year, that week will be May 17th through May 23rd. For us, effectively, May 18th through the 22nd will be our days of work. With that week, we have been selected as one of the 10 districts throughout the state to participate in the NACE program, Appreciation of Classified Employees, which Mr. Swanson has probably already talked to you about. That is an opportunity to shadow classified folks and show your appreciation for them. We're asking you to spend 2 hours in their shoes and see what they do throughout the day. I'm happy to say that so far, through the help of David Bird, Superintendent Swanson, and all the folks in this building, we have 40 managers / supervisors, administrators that have signed up. We're over 40 classified folks that have signed up, and we're asking you to sign up as well and participate. It would be a great opportunity for everybody, and it would show appreciation for classified folks who have a tough job at times. That's all I have. I hope to see you guys all in May, and have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Folsom Cordova. Oh, it's not done.
Veronica Lane will be sending you all an email sometime tonight with a link to sign up.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Well, good evening, board, FCUSD administrators, certificated classified staff, and those who are viewing via Zoom who join us tonight. Okay. This week I have struggled to figure out how FCEA has come to terms with the decision to not join the CTA movement. We can't wait. Under my leadership, I convinced our executive board not to join this movement because at the time, I felt that FCA, the FCUSD negotiating team, and this board had a respectful relationship. I always try to take responsibility for my mistakes, and it's become apparent that I was wrong to take the stand. Last board meeting, there was several comments about how the staff in our district is the backbone of this district, and we are the ones that make the difference in student success. President Larrett even stated, there seems to be a cohesion that there is not, I think, is just really moving us forward, because it is like every day we open up exactly where we'll be, and it's like chaos around us. You know, it's different in districts. I feel very blessed that we are in the district that we are. I think this refers to the strikes that are surrounding the district up and down the state, which have been the outcome of the CTA movement I just mentioned. This week, or this past month, the district offered though I acknowledge Mr. Martin felt it was a good offer, is not even a starting point and is an offer that cannot be taken seriously by FCEA. I certainly can't go to our members and tell them this is the best we can do. We, all of us, need to do better if FCUSD strives to attract individuals from the best teaching programs and, more importantly, keep personnel we have. We are spending vast resources on supporting new teachers and on an improvement of our practice, which in turn improve student success. As the presentation sent to you shows on slide 5, more than 50% of our teaching staff at our comprehensive sites, which does not include our first-year tenured teachers, the very newest to our profession, are at the first 5 years or even earlier. How many of you watch baseball? Awesome. I do, and unfortunately, my family and I are A's fan. Of course, right now they're doing good. But along with our close friends, we have this running joke. The A's are the best farm team the NBL has. We, FCUSD, are the farm team of our geographical area. We support, we train, and then we see some of our most promising professionals leave our district to go someplace else, whether it's because of our medical cost or our salary schedule. During the bargaining presentation, there was a scenario of a new teacher that has a family and is only netting approximately $4,900 per month. I'm sorry, yeah, and if their health care cost is $625 per month, that leaves about $4,300 left. That may sound like a lot, but for this area, after housing, food, transportation, clothes, etc., I don't know about you, but that is just sad. Even a single individual would struggle to live on that in this area. We must do better by our certificated staff, both the ones we just hired, the ones we will hire, and the ones that are currently working within our district. I hope that this board had a long and serious discussion about the FCA counter, and that the next offer by this district team is better reflection of how each of you feel about the ones you have voiced make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Thank you. Good evening. And I'd like to have Peter Maroon join me if he could, please. So good evening, President Lorette, members of the board, and Superintendent Swanson, and colleagues. So as Superintendent Swanson mentioned earlier, on Monday evening, ACSA, the Association of California School Administrators, held its annual Administrator of the Year Awards Gala. And this year, we are proud to share that Peter Maroon was selected as ACSA's Region 3 District Office Administrator of the Year. Joining in the celebration were board member Chalon Churla, Superintendent Swanson, and our executive cabinet. So thank you all for being there to support Peter on this special evening. So Peter was recognized for his outstanding work as our Director of Athletics for our district, where he continues to strengthen, and as you heard him share, our programs and expand opportunities for students across our district. His leadership reminds us that a student school experience extends far beyond the classroom, and he is committed to ensuring every student finds a place to belong. Earlier this year, we heard the word legacy come up, and ACSA's Region 3's theme for the year is growing the legacy, which felt especially fitting that night because in attendance were Peter's daughters and a handful of 5 of us, FCUSD administrators that at one point all worked under Peter's leadership at Mills Middle School as teachers. So while he's honored this year for his achievements, he's left a legacy because of his teaching, his coaching, his mentorship, but most of all, the care for those that he crosses paths with. So we appreciate your time this evening as we recognize and congratulate Peter on this well-deserved honor. Thank you.
That was a highlight for me, is having former teachers that I work with. I don't consider them being their boss when I was at Mills. They were my colleagues, and having Jenna and Janine, Keith, Mindy, and Scott there really meant the world. That really did. That was a huge difference. And of course, Kara, a former student, Keith, a former student. To me, it's like a full circle. And that's what we got in this business for. So thank you.
He always has to have the last word.
Okay, we will move on to board committees. Any reports on the Artificial Intelligence Committee? I don't think it's had a meeting recently. Okay, Budget Advisory Committee?
We are continuing with our budget advisory committee, looking for the dollars in terms of efficiency, and it's going to continue going until end of the year.
Fantastic. Curriculum Advisory? No reports. Okay. District Facilities? We're having constant meetings, nothing to really report. I don't think anything that's different. We're just still working through our upcoming projects that we have. And so we're just kind of getting updates on those as they're kind of coming to fruition starting this summer. So we're excited to see once our students come back, we'll be in full-blown construction at several of our sites. Let's see here, Policy Committee. Nope. Okay.
I can't remember. I feel like we've had a meeting in between, but nothing came back on this meeting. They're gonna come back next meeting.
Safety Committee?
Safety Committee, next week, next Thursday, it's going to be a big day evening between 5 and 6:30. We are releasing the first safety series about, how the drug preventions and mental health and so many things. And this is for all 22,800 parents. It's a virtual, so we highly encourage anyone watching this board meeting, please join. The link has been sent several times by our communications team, and all the PTAs has been distributing. We want to make sure how we are doing the safety part of the schools for all children. So it's coming April 23rd at 5 o'clock.
Fantastic. Okay, Special Education? Okay. City of Folsom Joint Coordination 2x2?
No, there is no meeting 2x2 for the City of Folsom.
And City of Rancho Joint 2x2, we have not had a meeting since the last time we reported. Okay. We'll move on to item 11, discussion action. Item A is approve the biannual developer fee justification study.
That's exactly right. I believe the next 6 items, our Executive Director of Facilities, Craig Rouse, is gonna walk us through. We have a couple for discussion action, then a couple public hearings, and then back to discussion action for 2 additional items as it relates to our facilities. Mr. Rouse, take us away on this first item A.
Will do. Good evening, Board President Larrett, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Swanson. Education Code 17620 gives school districts the authority to assess fees for new development within the boundaries of their districts for the purpose of funding construction and reconstruction of school facilities. Government Code Section 65995B3 requires the maximum level 1 assessment or the statutory fee for development to be adjusted every 2 years by the change in the Class B Construction Cost Index as determined by the State Allocation Board. At the State Allocation Board's January 28, 2025 meeting, the maximum level 1 fee for residential construction was raised from $5.17 to $5.38 per square foot, and the maximum fee for commercial and industrial construction was raised from 84 cents to 87 cents per square foot. So the residential construction is already being assessed in level 2 fees in the Folsom and Rancho Cordova areas right now. Therefore, this increase will only impact the commercial impact fees. So with that background, staff is recommending the board approve the biannual developer fee justification study, which demonstrates the nexus between new development in the district and the need to assess fees to finance new construction and reconstruction.
Okay, questions from the board?
No.
Doesn't look like there's any public comments. So with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse? Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, move on to item B, approve the school facility needs analysis.
Good evening again. So this is a little more detailed. I'm going to go into a little more detail about the level 2 fees. So per the language contained in the Government Code Section 65995.5, the Folsom Cordova Unified School District is allowed to levy fees in excess
of the state statutory fee, also called Level 1, or new residential development to address the need for new construction facilities as a district impact of new development. So prior to assessing the Level 2 fees, the district must establish construction eligibility in the state school construction or state school facility program, the SFP. The district has, Folsom Cordova Unified School District has established eligibility and is actively submitting funding applications as projects arise. So following the verification of state construction eligibility, a school construction facility needs analysis, SFNA, must be prepared. The SFNA will determine the cost of facilities that are necessary to house projected student enrollment for new residential development over the next 5 years. So because of the geological differences between the eastern SFID 1 and the western SFID portions of the school district, it has been determined that the Level 2 fee in SFID 1 is equal to $9.01 a square foot, and SFID 2 is equal to $10.26 per square foot for new residential and construction within the district. So with the approval of this report, the district can level the Level 2 fee, generate an additional $3.63 per square foot in SFID 1 and $4.88 per square foot in SFID 2. Now, this is above the statutory fee, which is the Level 1 fees of the rate of $5.38 per square foot of the new residential construction. Once again, this fee will only apply to residential construction and not commercial construction. So with that background, staff is recommending the Board of Education approve the school facility needs analysis, which demonstrates the nexus between the new residential development and the need to assess fees to finance new school construction in compliance with the provisions of SB 50.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
No, I'll make a comment, then a question. Craig and Mr. Swanson, these item A and B, both are studies. We are doing our best to collect the maximum allowed amount as per the law from the builders. So I just want to, let this message to the residents. It is important that anybody is listening this one. We are making, I think, among all 13 districts, we are the highest collecting district in terms of the money from the builders through these fees. So I just want to make that there is no room above this one to collect as per the government code. Right. Okay. I'm making a statement and I'm seeing a nods here if anybody is not seeing there. So we are doing our due diligence to collect as much as we can from the builder community. Thank you again.
Okay, no other comments? It doesn't look like there's any public comment. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Chalem-Taylor.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Turla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
We'll move on to item 12, public hearing. Item A, public hearing authorization of the statutory school facility fees per government section 65995.5 and 65995.7. I will open the public hearing. Doesn't look like we have any public comments, so I will close the public hearing. And we'll move on to item B, public hearing authorization of the statutory school facility fees per government code section 65995 and education code section 17620, and authorization of immediate implementation of the statutory school facility fees. We'll open the public hearing. No public comment on that, so we will close the public hearing. And we will move on to item 13, discussion action. Item A, adoption resolution number 04-16-26-43. Increase the statutory school facility fees per government section, code section 65995, and authorization of immediate implementation of the statutory school facility fees per ed code section 17620 and 17621.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything other to say. The first two items were about the studies, then we did the hearing, and now this is actually adopting the increase.
Yes,
sir.
The
Comments from the
resolution.
board?
It's all good.
No public comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Clark,
That's again.
second by Mr. Chalem-Sherla.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, move on to item B, adoption resolution number 04162644. Establish alternative section 65995.5 fee and alternative section 65995.7 fee. Questions? No public comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
And a second?
second by Mr. Chalem-Churla.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to item C, adoption resolution number 04162645, authorizing the issuance of Folsom Cordova Unified School District, Sacramento County, California, 2026 General Obligation Refund Bond Series A, School Facilities Improvement District Number 3, and actions related thereto.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Rouse, and welcome, Mr. Martin, for the next three items. We'll be talking about our opportunity or the board's opportunity to do some refinancing to save our taxpayers some money on some bonds. So go for it, Mr. Martin.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. So this evening, we have a special opportunity to save taxpayers in our community $10 million with regards to refinancing some of our existing bond issuances. On this first slide here, you can see there are 4 series that we're looking to refinance. One from SFID 4, one from SFID 5. So if we remember correctly, SFID 4 is the original build-out area of Rancho Cordova. So that would be pretty much all of our boundary area within Rancho Cordova, down to across to Sunrise, and then all the way down to the line that we meet with Elk Grove, so that area. And then SFID 5 is all the area east of Sunrise all the way to the El Dorado County line, so from our boundaries. And so both of those areas would be seeing an impact of that. And then SFID 3 is the area that is south of Highway 50, east of Sunrise, and that's the SFID 3 area, and you see there's 2 series there that we can refinance. There are certain times from the issuance of our bonds where they're called callable, or where there's an opportunity to be able to pull those bonds back and refinance them with a lower rate if it's available. We've been holding off a little bit. The rates have dropped, and they've jumped a little bit, and we'll see that in a second. But at this point in time, currently, it does look like it would save approximately about $10 million to the taxpayers. And so this would not extend out the length of the bonds. It would only just refinance the term at a lower rate, which would be beneficial for our community and taxpayers. And just so you know, the sale is a competitive sale. I know there was a question on the board about that as well. So here is the interest rate slide. I think if we're looking at refinancing your mortgage or any of those things, right, that sweet spot was mid-February. And then, of course, we had the invasion in Iran and some other activities, and that then spiked interest rates. So we're not quite as good off as we were. We actually started this in January. We were thinking it was going to work out really well, and then rates jumped back up. We do have the luxury of, we're not in an immediate rush, and so we will be taking a look at that and trying to find a sweet spot in the marketplace to hopefully maybe rates will drop some if we get some stabilization in the world market. And if that's the case, then we'll try to jump on some lower rates if possible. But based off of the current rate location, and you can kind of see it's been peaked back up, it is about a $10 million in savings. So this is just kind of the breakdown of savings between each of the SFID areas. The one you're wanting to look at is you can see on the left side in the green, it's about $10.6 million. That is the net savings after all fees and everything with the issuances. And then if you see the rates up there, ideally when you're doing a refinance, you want to have at least a 3% savings, present value savings. And so cumulatively, all of those combined will be about 5%. And so that's what you're looking at there as a net savings for the taxpayers. Timeline-wise, this is assuming a June sale and a closing in July. Again, we're working, there's a lot of economists and folks that are supporting us in this process, our underwriters as well as our financial advisor. So we're just going to try to find the best spot. We're not in a super rush, but we wanted to get board approval so that we have the ability to go ahead and do this financing and resale here, hopefully in the next few months if everything works out. So, questions? All right, so the resolutions that are in front of you, the next three items, one is for SFID 3, one's for 4, and one's for 5. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any public comment, so with that, I will entertain a motion for item C.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalmatrella.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item D, adopt resolution number 04/16/2646, authorizing the issuance of Folsom Cordova Unified School District 2026 General Obligation Refund Bond Series B, School Facilities Improvement District number 4, and actions related thereto.
I'll move.
Moved by Mr. Chalmatrella,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Lofthouse.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, moving on to item E, adopt resolution number 04/16/2647, authorization of issuance of Folsom Cordova Unified School District 2026 General Obligation Refund Bond Series C, School Facilities Improvement District number 5, and actions related thereto.
I'll move 13E.
Moved by Mr. Chalmatrella,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Luong.
Ms. Luong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Chalem-Churla?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, and then moving on to item F, approve 2026 California School Board Association Delegate Assembly Runoff Election Vote, Subregion 6B.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam President. As a reminder to the board, in March for CSBA, we ended up sending in 2 nominations for this position as a delegate. The committee then counted those votes and then have returned us the 2 candidates that are up for election. So what's going to happen tonight, and the 2 candidates are Sasha Vogt from Twin Rivers Unified School District and Delia Baldwin from Elk Grove Unified School District. So tonight, I'm going to hand you an election sheet. Make sure to put your name on it. We are voting for one of these 2 to be a CSBA delegate, and then the majority of the board will be who Rochelle then ultimately sends up to be our nomination or our choice. So how it's going to work, because Mr. Reed is remote, is I'm going to hand you the ballots. I'm going to pass those down. Fill out your name, and then vote for who you want to vote for, pass it down to me. And then once I've collected all the paper votes, I'm going to ask for Mr. Reed to audibly say which one of the 2 members or candidates he would vote for. Rochelle, to my right, is going to mark that on David's candidate sheet and also notate that he made that vote virtually. And then we'll count up all the votes, and then I'll read them off to the board, or I'll read off the total to the board. And we will then send in our candidate.
Mr. Swanson, are the student board members voting or not?
Not.
Okay, because I
Not.
have one
Yep.
extra, but.
Yep. We still do care about your voices, though.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Reed, I have collected all other trustees' votes. Who of the 2 candidates would you like to vote for?
I will vote for Sasha Voigt.
Thank you, sir. So Mr. Reed votes for Sasha Voigt, and the other 4 board members all vote for Delia Baldwin. So it looks like our recommendation will be for Delia to go forward. Thank you very much, board.
All right, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Madam President, we do need to make an official.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yep, we'll motion that that's our candidate.
I will entertain a motion.
Yeah, we'll wait for Mr. Carter.
He's coming. He's coming.
Okay.
I'll move.
Moved by Ms. Lofthouse,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Chalem-Chella.
Ms. Wong?
Aye.
Ms. Lopez Petracca?
Aye.
All right, we will retract those two votes. Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
To send Delia as our
Mr.
national
Chalem-Chella?
discussion action.
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Good thing that's all it was for, right?
When in doubt, say aye, Mr. Clark. Appreciate you.
Okay, we'll move on to superintendent's report.
Yeah, I just have a brief report. First, I would like to mention Dr. Huber ended up messaging me after our conversation about the Curriculum Advisory Committee and the jazz band. We believe that there was not a meeting until the end of the year, and actually that is not true. There's a Curriculum Advisory meeting April 29th, so with the board's permission, we'll just go ahead and accelerate the process of reviewing that and then bring that course description back to the board most likely sometime in May, either the 7th or the 21st. So that's first part of my report. And then the second part of my report, so it's just recently I started, and I don't know why I hadn't done it all year, but I started meeting with Evelyn and Addie to prepare for the board meeting. And Addie gets on yesterday, and Addie's a little sick. You can hear it in her voice. And she's, trying to pick her college. She's trying to finish up her senior year. She's planning international night, and you can just tell it's sort of like weighing on her, right? And she's just like talking to me about motivation. I'm like, Addie, you have come down with what we call senioritis. So, my comment is about this is, if you're a sports fan, this is the fourth quarter or the 18th hole or the 26th mile or whatever. This is the end. We're down to 6 weeks, right? And so this is where, for me, and I know this is going to sound corny, championships are won. So for all of our students and all of our staff, we have a lot of really important high stakes testing coming up, whether it be CASP or AP or IB. We have a lot of things coming up that are really important for decisions for our students to make. And so I just wanted to voice words of encouragement to all of our classified, certificated, and administrative staff, and certainly all our students and our families to, as I say to my daughters all the time, work hard, have fun, and finish strong. And that'll be my report.
Okay, moving on to board member reports. Ms. Addie?
Thanks, Mr. Swanson. Okay. Sorry, my computer's being slow. So after we met, we finished up, I think it was, it was after we met. We finished up Senior Survivor Week, which is a week to help seniors survive the last few bits of high school and also just celebrate and help us bond. We had a picnic on the lawn, so it was our last recess. So we all just played games on the lawn. We had food on the football field and everything. It was super fun. But then to cap off Senior Survivor Week, we also had a boat regatta. So for those of you who don't know Vista's tradition, we raced cardboard boats made out of cardboard and duct tape across the pool, our newly renovated pool. There was no paint that got on anywhere, so it was okay. But my advisory actually won that boat regatta, which was super cool to watch. And we also won Best in Show and the Titanic Award. So the Titanic Award is getting the most people to sit in a boat without the boat sinking. So I think we fit 20 kids in there. It was pretty impressive. But yeah, we finished Senior Survivor Week, so that was very fun to bond with my classmates. And then we also had Battle of the Bands on March 19th, which was put on by Vista's Contemporary Music Ensemble. And going back really quickly to the student board member elections, we had 1,330 students from Folsom vote for student board members. So I just wanted to shout out all of our candidates again for getting our students civically engaged and engaged in, voting for their next student representative. So that was very impressive. Coming up at Vista, we have our own international night on April 23rd at 6 p.m. in our multi/picnic table area. So I'll send out an invite for that if any of the board members want to come to that. Our student government has been working very hard on planning that, so shout out to them. And so next week, in preparation for that, we also have like a week-long Spirit Week. And one of the days, because it's Earth Day, we're actually wearing thrifted clothing on Earth Day, and my club is also doing a booth. We're doing a clothing swap for that day, so that's gonna be really fun. And we have senior ball at the Grand Pavilion in Sacramento on May 2nd, so that's very exciting. And yes, that's all that I have for Vista. And then, oh wait, one more. Our Vista's Skills USA team went to the state competition this past weekend, and one of our students, she's going to be a senior next year, she's a junior right now, Ananya was elected to serve as the Region 4 Vice President, so congratulations to her. And then also our students, Roshini and Shreya, are both advancing to the Skills USA National Competition, which is super cool. And lastly, like Mr. Swanson was talking about, all the seniors are sending in their commitments. So just congratulations to all the seniors for making it through. And I hope everyone finishes out the school year strong. This is not our last meeting, but yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Ms. Addie.
So like Addie mentioned, May 1st is the day where all our seniors are supposed to have their commitments ready for college, including us. So we'll see how that goes. Next question, because that's a really sensitive topic for me right now. But we have IB exams coming up on April 30th, and they end May 20th. So good luck to all the seniors and juniors that have 1 year IB classes. And then we also have class representative elections for the next upcoming school year. And then we finally found out our prom thing, which is Garden of Glamour. And so our prom is gonna be on May 2nd. And we have spring activities on May 1st. And we also have senior sign off. So I think they're gonna have like Student Gov is hosting like a big long poster that they have, and they have the seniors come and like paint their hands and stamp the poster. And so they save it for the rest of the school year until we graduate. And then FCCLA is going to state on April 21st, and they're coming back on the 24th. So the annual FCCLA State Leadership Conference is where people compete in a variety of events and attend workshops. Throughout that week, it includes a banquet, fashion show, and displays of all of the members' personal projects. So shout out to our FCCLA program, that is awesome, and they also cater for us, so that's also great. And then tomorrow, I guess this happened today because I heard a weird flu is going around. And so a lot of our seniors are getting sick. I mean, I can feel it right here. So I don't know. A lot of us are like probably not gonna go to school. I mean, if you know, you know, but attendance is very important. But you know, when you're sick, you just can't go because you're gonna contaminate the other students. So I don't know.
Paging Scott Meyer.
I feel it right here. So yeah, that is all I have for Cordova until next meeting. Oh, and this is our third to last meeting, right?
Yes.
Yes. So enjoy your faces until we leave.
Also, sorry, really quickly before the next board member goes, I had one report I forgot. I attended the CSBA student board member meeting earlier this week, and we were talking about legacy and how to kind of prepare your seat for the next incoming student board members, like we were talking about. And so Evelyn and I are going to, I started working on it a little bit over spring break, but we're going to create a student board member handbook so that our successors will be able to step into this role a little bit more confident about what their responsibilities are and how to kind of navigate being a student board member, because that's something we definitely could have benefited from. And so we hope that this could be an ongoing resource for future student board members to use and add to as they learn from their experiences. So I'm excited about that.
Thank you.
As soon as you guys do commit, you do have to let us know which colleges, because we have a college sweatshirt night, which we have to figure out what night we're going to do that.
It is May 21st, because we are these young people will graduate and just spread their wings and start flying for the June board meeting. So we want to make sure to celebrate them on May 21st. So
Perfect, which means you really need to tell us because
I
those
know.
bookstores are really slow with their delivery sometimes. Okay.
I'm very close. I'm very close.
I have a short report tonight, just extra congratulations to our student athletes, extra congratulations to Mr. Maroon, although he's gone. And he still to this day is like, just call me Peter, but I can't because he was my teacher twice in middle school and in high school. So, and the same with Coach Wall because he was also my teacher. So, I guess I do have a small update for the snail race that's happening. The registration has gone out. We do have six schools participating. 2 from Rancho Cordova. Is this right? 3 from Rancho, 3 from Folsom. And so we will be sending 13 students to this Great Snail Race at the city park on May 9th. But if your school is not participating, they still have a youth section where you can join and race your snails. So I will be racing the mayor on Good Morning Sacramento the day prior. So that will also be happening. So, but it'll be fun. The 80th birthday celebration in Folsom, regardless of whether or not you're racing snails, they have a lot of fun things planned. So, and a dunk tank where we can dunk Mr. Swanson. So that's another benefit to going. And I just wanted to acknowledge the foreign exchange student we had this evening. I got to mention to her, I, as a junior in high school, had a foreign exchange student live with me, also from Germany. And while we've stayed in touch and social media makes it much easier too, I get to bring my family to meet her family this summer. So I'm really excited, and that's 26 years ago later that that is something that our family gets to enjoy. So if you ever do have the opportunity to host a foreign exchange student, it is an amazing opportunity for your kids and for your family to get to share those cultures. So that's all.
Mr. Clerk?
All right. To Board Member Lofthouse, make sure you submit your proposal to CSBA for that snail race. I'm just saying. It's been a busy week, a busy month actually for me and with CSBA. And I do understand that the board will be hearing an update on CTAG coming up soon. But what I would like to do, and I've been drafting up a resolution, just kind of a SOS for our district to support CTAG and what that means, closing the achievement gap. It's a real serious issue with CSBA. It's something that we're going to be working on, especially with the 4 legislative bills that are out there, AB 225, AB 2514, AB 2149, and AB 2202, I think. But anyway, hopefully I can get consensus from the board to present a resolution at the end of that presentation, whenever that may be, May 7th. So, Superintendent, I will get that draft to you. You can take a look at it, make any edits or whatever you want to. I'm actually looking forward to May 6th at Cordova High. It is their senior awards night. At that time, I will be presenting my family memorial scholarship to a deserving student. We're still looking at the applications, but we're kind of close on making a decision, so I'm very excited about that. Last week I did go, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. I've been traveling. I don't know where I'm at. I did go to the Friends and Family Night at Cordova High, celebrating their winter band and color guard. And it was an excellent performance, really good. So, Mr. Sims, if you are out there, CSBA is waiting for your proposal too. I think it'd be something great to have those students perform. Other than that, that is it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Sheldon Trailer? Okay.
Mine is very small as well. This month is Military Children's Month. It is especially the military active duty ones out there in the world protecting our country, and they celebrate with the purple. So I usually go to the VFW breakfast luncheon. They reminded me that at least I can put my purple here. So Mr. Swanson, I'm not sure if we have communicated out there. There may be some active duty officers from our region out there in so many other places in the world. So maybe recognizing those kids through our process. So this month is for Military Kids Month. So I just want to thank all the active duty officers protecting our country. And the second one is the sink, road sink near Oak Chan Elementary. Sinkhole, thank you, sinkhole. It is progressing very well. Of course, this is maybe a little long walk. I have been out there for the last couple of days, especially the kindergartners walking that long, and I can hear their noise from their parents. It is too far. So anyway, I'm out there just doing some traffic help for them because the traffic is a little bit disrupted. Otherwise, it's wonderful to be out in the community at our schools. Thank you.
Mr. Reed?
No report this evening.
Okay, I don't have a report. Just a quick reminder, though, that we do have the artist show at the MAC for our student art show tomorrow. So if you can make it, they will have tons of FCUSD artwork. I think they said they had 1,000+ pieces, so that will be very exciting. Bring your cash because the kids will be selling their artwork, and I do have some very excellent pieces in my office that I bought over the years. So they're very, very good. Okay, with that, we'll move on to advanced planning. The next meeting that we have is actually a special joint board meeting, or 5x5x5 meeting on Wednesday, April 29th from 5:30 to 7 here in the boardroom. And then our next regular board meeting would be scheduled for May 7th. Then we'll move on to item B, the 12-month board calendar. And then item C, suggested future agenda items.
For next month, the transportation is that May 7th. We can put that off to one more meeting.
The 21st?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, any other suggested future agenda items? Okay, hearing none, we do not need to recess to close session. So with that, we will go ahead and adjourn our meeting.